What's going on, guys? This is Patrick, and you are trading with Prime. It is Sunday, March 7th, 2021. So what we're looking at is a picture of the SPY. We will let people come in here. For those of you guys who do not know, we go live every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to go over outlook for the following week and charts. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just start here. And then as we continue here, you guys can go ahead and post tickers in the comment section. And as you see, I did a video, I think it was on Saturday, and that was for the members. So if there's a chart you want to see and it's in that list, feel free to refer back to Saturday's video. How's it going, guys? And for some reason, my YouTube is doing the normal laggy thing that it does for whatever reason. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? We're going to start going over charts. First thing I want to do is take a look at the SPY, let people filter in here, and show you guys what I'm thinking about. And it might be wrong, but just to show you. How's it going? Okay, so what I'm looking at, first of all, with the SPY, let's go to the weekly time frame. That's usually what we start with, right? Weekly time frame, straight up, straight up, straight up. Everything is straight up. So what we're looking at is this last couple weeks, these last 3 weeks. What it looks like is we had a back test, price coming all the way down to support of the breakout candle, or whatever you want, kind of candle you want to call this. It was a breakout. It's a pretty big, hefty candle, and it's on heavy volume. So that is the last area on the weekly time frame. Price has not been back down there. And so far, you have a back test and price rally back up here on Friday. And I guess you could still call this bullish consolidation on a weekly time frame, although I know a lot of people disagree with that, but that's what it looks like on a weekly time frame. Down on the daily chart, what do we have? We have a lot of expanded volatility, and we will for sure get to Tesla, OCGN, QQQ, absolutely. So what we have is expanded volatility. And so what am I looking for this coming week? Well, what I do see is, again, here you see that down to support, it bounces off support. The question a lot of people have right now is this a dead cat bounce, or is this the real deal? Before we go further, let's take a look at the Q or the ES here, futures market, see where we're at. What do we have? Do we have a gap higher? We do have a gap higher and a back test on the futures. We have a gap. What was this, Friday? What day is this? Nope, this is today. So we have a gap higher. We have a pullback to support. And as you can see, it touched right on this rising trend line. That was already on the chart. And let's zoom out here and see what this trend line is actually from. Trend line's from the March lows. So you see a gap higher pulling back. I do expect some sort of resistance in here. And the way I would draw the resistance on the ES is I would do either this, but probably better is to do something like this. You're going to have resistance in this area no matter what time frame you're looking at. If I go down to the intraday time frame and I look at the hourly time frame like this, and hopefully you guys can see this. Let's take a little look here. See how we can just kind of do this. You can draw it like this if you'd like. There's going to be resistance in here. So no matter what happens today, going into Monday, Tuesday, I would not be surprised to see a pullback in here and then maybe do a higher low as opposed to Friday's low. Maybe do another higher low somewhere in there. That would not surprise me. We are looking at the market like it's bullish, but that's only because of the reversal that we had on Friday. I'm definitely expecting there to be resistance in here. And in fact, if you were a short trader and you like to short, these would be good areas to short at as far as shorting against one of these highs up here. But to each their own. Let's go back to SPY. Here's the thing. What I'm thinking about, guys, what I've been thinking about all weekend is this. Is whatever it is that you guys would be the most surprised, think of it like this. Whatever would surprise us as traders, what would surprise us the most? What do we think is going to happen? Is the market going to roll over from here? Would that surprise us? I wouldn't be surprised, right? What would surprise? Would 420 really surprise us? It'd probably surprise a lot of people. I'm not calling for 400 and 420. What I'm saying, though, is that if we start getting above these prices in here, we could start targeting 400 and 420. I'm not saying I'm overly bullish. I'm not saying I'm overly bearish. I want to see the evidence and see what the charts are going to tell us within the next couple days. And like you guys know, I'm not one to chase price. So if we gap higher tomorrow, I'm not chasing a long trade in the Qs or the SPY. And really not too many charts I will swing trade after a run that we had on Friday plus a gap higher. We'll see coming in tomorrow. It could be a complete failure. We could take out the lows of Friday. And if that happens, I think much lower prices are expected. But looking at the Qs, you see the same thing. You see a pullback in here on the weekly time frame, and it pulled back to the September high. I don't know if this was the virus news or the vaccine news. I think the vaccine news came in September or November. September, maybe. Well, maybe that was it. That might have been it. Let's go back to the SPY and take a look, because I know which one it was on there. That was 11.9. I think that was, yeah, it was 11.9, or maybe it was back here. But okay, let's go back to Qs. Somebody could leave a comment there under the video and let me know what the vaccine high was. As you can see, there's a pretty big reversal coming on back here. There's a lot of consolidation, and you see this area right here, consolidation, and it looks like we're just coming down to backtest consolidation because we haven't been there since early December, late November, and that would be something to look at. I don't like this weekly chart. I don't like these candles in here. I would not be surprised at all, though, to see a run up to this area and then for it to roll over and take out the lows. But I don't want to say that's going to happen, because we all know that if we plan on this happening, what's going to happen is we're going to have a breakout. So we just really have to trade it as we see it, trade it as, play it as best we can. Look for the, if you are bullish, look for the higher lows, look for the tightening, coiling range, and look for the possible breakouts in each sector. If I go down to the daily time frame, it looks pretty bullish on the daily as far as the Friday's candle type. It looks like a clean back test. And as you guys know, I did a post in the Discord. If you're not members of the Discord, feel free to check it out. There's a free side of the Discord, and we do have alerts and all that sorts of great content. As far as the post that I did on the Discord, you guys will see what the reason why I flipped to neutral / bullish is, I will just zoom in a little bit more and you'll see it right here. We had support in here and we broke down through support, and when price came to a low and then had immediate reversal out of this area and then closed strong on the hourly time frame, I immediately flipped neutral to / slanted bullish. And this is why, is because we should have, because we broke down here, we should have either back tested and then sold off, and we didn't. And for that reason alone, just alone in the Qs, I became more bullish. So I'd not be surprised to see higher prices in the Qs. As far as where I think the money will flow to, that's, I don't know if it's going to be technology or if it's going to be industrials or shippers. Like, I don't know where the money's going to flow. But to me, the price action of Friday alone was bullish enough to where I think we could see a bullish run maybe into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as long as we stay above 300 in the Qs. Okay, let's go to IWM. And I'm going to try to run through the rest pretty quick for you guys. I know you guys like the SPY and the Qs. We love the SPY and Qs. I actually like trading the IWM because I feel like it provides better options pricing. Anyway, in the IWM, we can't discount this, right? This has been a multi-year consolidation in here. I know this felt like a crash. It was a crash, but technically speaking, it recovered back up into the consolidation area, and then it broke out of that area. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback. It doesn't have to go all the way back. Maybe we will just go to the most recent low of this candle like we saw in the SPY, and maybe we will turn around and rally out of here. We will see. Time will tell. That's the weekly time frame. On the daily chart, I see the same thing. I see consolidation, right? I see this massive several weeks consolidation. We had a drawdown of, let me go here. We have a drawdown of 10%, close to 10%. And so what I tell people is, whenever we see a correction in the market of 10%, that's a usually good area to start adding back to your long term. As you guys know, I've been closing out of my long-term account holdings, probably going into January, February, and pretty much staying out of the long term. I know I've been trading here and there. Like, I've put out a couple alerts as far as long-term holdings go. And of course, again, that is long-term. And so we're willing to sit through this kind of ugliness. We're willing to sit through even after another 10% ugliness. I don't think prices are going to go back down to what the March lows. I think that's off the table. I think as low as we'll see is maybe, well, in the IWM, let's go back to the weekly time frame of the IWM, I think maybe we'll go down as low as 169, but I don't think we will. I think as low as we'll go is 192. If I do a drawdown to 192, that's roughly 15%. It's possible. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but I'm saying that it's okay to start adding to long term if you're willing to hold it for a couple of years. Prices are going to be a lot higher in the markets than they are today in a few years to 10 years. So that's something to be mindful of. Let's look at the transports. You guys having a good weekend? Oh yeah, thank you, Carl. Smash. I promised myself I'd never say smash that like button. By the way, the like button does help the algorithms on YouTube, so I appreciate it. And yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, so the transports, we're looking at the transports, absolutely bullish, phenomenal on the weekly time frame. Absolutely bullish, phenomenal on the daily. I would not be surprised to take out these highs. So your favorite names that we like to trade, like Boeing, look for names in the transports because I think higher prices are likely. Let's look at XLF. Absolutely phenomenal XLF. Don't don't ask me about my HSBC short trade right now. I'm underwater in it. And you can see here, weekly time frame, it looks pretty good. The reason why I was short is because of this candle here, which we had last week. And I was betting that the interest rates are not going to keep rising. And that's the kind of the biggest reason for the short, not to mention where it was on HSBC, it was on the chart as far as the weekly time frame goes. I was counting on this being a reversal candle, and this is the retracement of that candle. But financials look phenomenal. All the banks that you love, they probably look phenomenal. As far as broad market, we could look at, let's look at IBB actually. Oops. Biotech. Biotech, I think we saw a lot more weakness in. And so I do have a couple trade ideas for biotech names. I think you could be long the biotech. The weekly time frame still looks ugly. I would not, like I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised to see a dead cat bounce Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe going into Thursdays, we'll get some weird bad payroll, whatever numbers that come out, whatever fake numbers come out. We'll get some sort of numbers, and that might be a trigger to the downside, but who knows what's going to happen. I don't want to say that that's going to happen. Let's just play it by ear, but I would not be surprised to see this roll over further. But for now, the biotechs, if they do get a bounce, they might have a better bounce in the biotech compared to all the other markets. That's it for the broad market. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some charts, and I'll run through them really quick, and then you guys can just add them to your lists, maybe some charts to take a look at for the week that coming into this next week. First one I'll look at is YQ. Daily time frame. Daily time frame, like a lot of the charts we're about to see right now are all going to have reversal candles, or most of them are going to have daily reversal candles, which is this last candle on Friday. Something I think we need to pay attention to on YQ though is that the chart is really ugly. It's underneath all three moving averages. It really is more about conviction, where you think a good buy would be. And your duration, how long you want to hold it. We are going to have some resistance just overhead, which is Thursday's high, which is probably around, where's the high? 1304. Let's just call it $13. There's also a gap in there. I wouldn't be surprised though to see a little bounce out of here. Maybe we'll get a bounce up to these higher moving averages around $14 and then cool off a little bit, see what happens with the chart. I'm not saying this trade is for everybody. Personally, what I would be looking for is I'd be looking up for like maybe another inside bar. If I can get 2 inside bars, that'd be even better. And then I would be aiming for a breakout. And I wouldn't take this trade until I see the breakout, but after like some sort of consolidation, higher low kind of price action. You see that on your screen? Yeah, you can. Okay. That's YQ. Oh, and then let me go to the weekly time frame and really show you why. The reason why I was thinking YQ is if you see this area back here, you have this big breakout candle right here. You had consolidation this week, which was IPO, and then you had a breakout. Well, we haven't been back down to back test that breakout, and so that's what I was really looking at. Is that's a pretty nice back test. The low of the breakup candle is $10.54. The low of last week is $10.63. That's pretty dang close for a back test, and so that was my thinking. Plus, you had 3 down candles in here. I think if we do get a bounce out of here, it might be worth a trade, but this isn't for everybody. Just something I wanted to show you guys. This chart, CHPT, I don't know why it's not populating on my Thinkorswim. For whatever reason, it's not going back further. I think this chart does go back further, but it's not doing it on my Thinkorswim. Okay, this has a 36% short, and so I'm thinking that you guys would have to go actually look at the days to cover. But a 36% short interest is pretty big. I mean, that's pretty high number. And we have to be mindful of why are our investment companies short. You know, why is there 36% short? There's probably a really good reason for it. The other thing to really be mindful of is Friday we had to move out of here. We've already ran 35%. So for a trade like this, I'm actually looking for some sort of pullback or a higher low compared to the low of 1950, and then I'd be looking for a breakout above this resistance area around 2622. I'm not going to take this trade on a gap higher in the morning unless for whatever reason, let's say it gapped higher, or in fact, let's say it did this. Let's say it gapped higher, ran up, and then pulled back to back test and created some sort of higher low in there. I'm not willing to chase price. Let's take a look at AI. Same thing in AI. I didn't look at the short. Anyway, AI, we have a daily reversal candle. The low is $77. I don't like this price action that we're below all three moving averages. This is pretty nasty in here, and we have to understand, or we have to kind of question, why are people selling this name? But we're well below the 200 period moving average. It's probably a good idea to stay away from charts that are below. So I'm not saying take this trade, but I personally love these kinds of trades as far as the 200 period maybe acting as a magnet, pulling price up to it, especially if we can get above this $100 price area. I think this chart could show us a little bit of signs of life. And so same thing with the other one. I'm looking for like maybe an inside bar, and if it could do something like that, higher low, give us a higher low, a breakout, maybe even a back test of the breakout, and then it can start taking off. A more conservative trade is to simply wait for it to get back above the moving averages to have the price momentum in your favor. OTRK. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave in the comment section. OTRK, this one I'm only putting on here for the fact that it's got, same thing, it's got 34% short. This is a really ugly chart, and there's a lot of traders who would say stay away from this, and I don't mean to be giving you a bunch of charts and saying stay away from them, but you have this area of consolidation back here, so it's pretty good reason why the price stopped in that area. I think this, as far as risk versus reward, this was $100 a couple, month and a half ago, or even a month ago. And there's probably a good reason for this. Earnings coming out, and we got some bad numbers in there. And we had the cool off period. You had the 3 down days, and then you had a 4th down day, now consolidation. What I would want to see in this, if I go to a lower time frame, let's say the hourly, we could even do the 2-hour chart, but just looking at the hourly, I'd want to see a little bit of consolidation in here. And then if we can break up past this resistance, that's when I'd be entering this trade. I would wait for a breakout back test kind of scenario. I would want to chase, not necessarily chase price, but wait for price to get through resistance, and that resistance is around resistance around 34.13. I would just put it on, turn off extended hour so you can see the gap, and then just kind of follow along. We saw the same thing kind of trade in Intel. Remember when Intel had earnings? And let's see if I can pull it up. So back here, right, you had this area back on the chart, and a lot of people wanted to stay away from this, and so we waited for support to finally find support, and we waited for the higher low, which was in this area right here, taking long trades out of this. So Intel's a really good reason. Once it got back up into the gap, it really began to run. I'm not saying the last chart that we just looked at is going to do this. I'm just saying that a lot of traders stay away from that. But what I don't know, I think we can wait for the higher low, wait for it to break through resistance, and possibly aim to the upside on that last one we just looked at. I'm gonna skip over O. I like this name. Well, I like the sector. I like real estate, and so yeah, I'm gonna get off of that one, but you can check it out. O. SRNE 27%. Same kind of thing. You had a reversal candle on the daily chart, and then you had a drawdown of around 52%. That's pretty hefty. You can kind of see why price went down to this area. You have prior consolidation in here, and now it's acting as support. Plus, there was a gap in here, and you had this prior breakout area. So you can kind of see why it's acting as support, and price is now having a hard time getting through that area. That's what we want to see. And if I go down to a lower time frame, I would want to see a little bit more behavior, maybe get above 890, maybe price even getting above 950 before I went long in something like this. And we're not going long based on, we're going long based on a higher time frame chart. So like lower time frames looks pretty nasty. In fact, it can continue lower. There's nothing that says it can't. I'd want to see a little bit more evidence on this actually being a bottom, and this right now is not the time for that evidence. I think maybe we'll see the evidence Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we'll see what the chart does. I like this chart, and when the shorts begin to cover, maybe it will develop into something bigger. Let's look at and I'm going to show you a few charts that look they're all pretty much similar. APT, same kind of scenario, 20%, same kind of sell-off, same kind of consolidation. These are the trades that I like. Again, if it's not for you, it's not for everybody. It's coming into this prior consolidation area. This was a breakout area. We have a reversal candle on Friday. So just for those reasons alone, I think that we could get a nice bounce up into $14, $14.50, but that is to be remain. We'll see what it actually develops into on same thing, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, days in there. BLNK, same thing, 36%. I'll spare you all the rest of it, but you just based off the 36, same, all the same stuff we just talked about in the previous chart. CLVS, same thing, all the things we talked about. Again, 38% short. RVP, 23% short. We are thinking RVP as far as, remember I was saying look at the biotech, and maybe not necessarily saying that this company is biotech, but it is retractable technologies. So as far as the vaccines go, this is a nice little low in here. I don't know what the news was in this area, but this is a prior area of consolidation and a breakout area. So I would, just for those reasons alone, I'd want to see price stay above this candle. I'm not saying that this is a reversal candle in the daily chart, but I'd want to see this actually acting as a low and give us a sign of life, of recovery, like we've seen it many times in the past. So let's go to API, which is, I think it's Agora. Yeah, Agora, same kind of scenario. You had a back test down to the 200 period. It's had quite the hefty pullback. You're looking at 55% drawdown. That's not bad after running 200%. So just off of that, I would like to see a little bit more evidence. So if I go to a 2-hour time frame, I'd want to really begin to see the higher highs and higher lows. And again, the chart's not doing that yet, but maybe this week it will. I'm looking for the higher highs, higher lows. Last one, and then we'll get into your guys's. PRTS, again, same thing. And if I go to the daily chart on PRTS, 21% short, you can kind of see where it tried to come back down here and fill in a gap. And I don't consider this a gap fill unless it actually comes into the closing price of this day back here on 125. For me, it has to go below that closing price. I know there's a little wick in here. And so let's see what happens this coming week. PRTS, let's see, let's go to the lower time frame. Let's go to the hourly. And so same thing. I know it looks really ugly right here, but we have to start anticipating that the buyers will begin to step up in here. It needed time to cool off. So again, maybe we can see some higher lows, higher highs, and wait for price to get above all 3 1-hour moving averages. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. Let's see what you have on the list, and we'll just run through the rest of these pretty quick. And let me know what you think as far as the broad market. You guys think it's going to keep selling off? Do you think it's going to, you think it's going to keep selling off? Do you think it's going to rally, make new highs? Do you think it's just going to consolidate, or the good fake out, maybe a pump up, dead cat bounce for 2 or 3 days and then roll over? Let me know what you think. And the first one I see on the list. Good evening, guys. Yeah, the SRNE, I haven't gone in for that one for quite a while. And so for me, for swing trading, I just lighten the position. I don't go all in, but maybe you're right. Maybe take some day trade stabs at it, and just really watch your levels. Okay, PLTR. We've traded PLTR on and off. I was, you know what, to be honest with you, I was gonna put PLTR on here, and I didn't. And there's really just one reason why I did not put it on tonight. But what do I see? I see back testing, right? The problem is it should have already back tested at this level, and then it should have back tested at this level. It actually shot all the way through this prior consolidation, which is really all of this. It already came down here consolidating bear flag and then shot through the bear flag. The good news is the benefit of looking at this name is that it had the down move consolidation and then the another down move. That was the market symmetry pattern played out as far as the high up here down to low down here. That played out. I do like the bullish thing is that the buyer stepped in. Technically, this is a reversal candle on a daily chart. And so I do like that about this. Another way to look at this though, because for me, price has to get above this area, right? This is the old consolidation area. And if price can get above this area, to me, I would be willing to step in and take a trade, even if that's tomorrow. One thing, well, I shouldn't say that. Because price came from this such a low level, $20, I don't know if I would take a trade tomorrow, but maybe the back test I would take. Once price consolidated one more time, then I would possibly take that trade. But it is definitely bullish that we have consolidated in here. Price should have broke down and stayed down. It didn't. The bull showed up and brought price right back up. So I would probably assume that there's going to be higher prices out of this one. And so this is the consolidation area that I'm talking about. It's right through here. And if we can get above this price, these prices, I would definitely look for a backtest higher low scenario, and then I would be willing to take a trade. PLTR. I'm going to put this on the list. And then Tesla. We took a trade in Tesla on Friday. Alert was on the Discord. Ultimately, I think lower prices in Tesla. I'm still not a believer. And you guys know how bearish I am on the name. For those of you who've been following me for a long time, I think that there's going to be hundreds of companies, hundreds of EV companies. Tesla's not going to be the only one. I'm going to show you on a higher time frame. But I think it's reasonable to think that Tesla will eventually come back and back test 400. I don't know if that's going to be anytime soon. And we actually went long in Tesla on Friday, just off of this pattern right here where we had prior consolidation. And as far as risk versus reward, if it got below this area, that it's probably going to come all the way down to this area. So for that reason, we went ahead and went long. I didn't go heavily long because I feel like I was a little bit late to the party. But if I go down to a lower time frame hourly chart, and I can kind of see what's going on here, you're going to have a lot of resistance in here, and they might try to fake us out. Like, let's do this. Can you guys see that? You can see that. So we might see something like this on Monday. Maybe we'll get a little bump in here. Maybe it'll gap higher, but I would expect price to just kind of come back and back test first. So, and that's why I was telling a lot of traders on Friday, we don't need to go heavy on Friday. We should save our money for Monday and wait for the actual dip buy and opportunities, or wait for the dip buy and higher high, right? Wait for the high risk or high probability, low risk trade setup. I do think higher prices in Tesla for now, but I also believe that it's just a dead cat bounce. I don't think that we're going to have all-time highs in Tesla anymore. And this is why I was saying a lot lower prices in Tesla. We can see that it's been straight up for quite a while. So I think the chart just needs time to cool off. I think it would be reasonable to assume, let me pull it down like this. I think it's reasonable to assume that Tesla could ultimately come back to this level. You could even do something like this. Can I draw a channel in here? I don't know if this will work. No, it's not going to work. I saw a channel in here before. How did I see? Oh, I've got the wrong chart on. That's why I don't have log, or I have a. Okay, so I think it's reasonable to, well, let's just put the bottom part of what I think is the channel. I think it's reasonable to think that price will ultimately come down to this area down here, or maybe even just a little bit further to these old highs, maybe like that. Maybe that's better, right? I think it just got a little ahead of itself, right? Like this massive run up recently was 100%, but dating back here, I mean, even pre-split, I mean, we're looking at 1100% in quite a short period of time. Let's go to the daily chart and just look at this year. So this year alone, basically from April to the highs was almost 700%. So I think it just needs a little bit more time to cool off. But with that said, if you're a long-term investor in Tesla, I don't think that there's any reason to sell. I think you can just continue holding it. And I hope I didn't offend any perma bulls in Tesla. Okay, OCGN. But yeah, I would definitely, you could be long against Friday's low if you're just taking a trade out of this. You can be long against Friday's low, meaning if price got below 539.62, you would know where your stop loss is going to go. OCGN. OCGN, bullish consolidation. I don't know anything about this company, but bullish consolidation on the weekly time frame. Or on the daily time frame. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly, it has a lot of room to run. When I look at charts like this, and this is probably a lot of public offerings, or, I don't know if it'd be like reverse splits or whatever, I think that this has a lot of room that it can run. But I would just be very careful because you see these pop-ups and then it sells off. So the weekly time frame, it's not my kind of a trade, although it is technically a bullish consolidation on the weekly time frame. You had an up move in here, and now it's creating a bull flag. You could see a possible up move. It is bullish consolidation, but again, just like we were talking about with Tesla, it just might need a little bit more time of cooling off. And on the daily chart, it looks a little bit more easier, or it looks like it would be something a little bit more easier to trade on the daily, because where it's pretty easy, clear to see on the chart where at what price you'd be wrong in the trade, where your stop losses would go. But as far as taking a high probability trade, this is quite a wide range. So I don't think you have to wait for price to get all the way up here and break out, back test, and then take a trade. I think that you could take a trade off the lows down here And I think Friday, if you got in Friday, I would just hold it. I would wait for the higher low, and then you could just simply move your stop loss up and just kind of ride it up to the top of the flag pattern. The one thing I would say though is if you did get to the top, I would still expect resistance in that area, and you might see something like that, right? OCGN, QQQ, we already did. XLF. Okay, so we did XLF in the beginning. Oh, let's do XLE. XLE. XLE, absolutely bullish. Not a trade that I would jump into, but a trade that if I was in, I would continue holding. There's nothing on the daily chart that tells me to sell or short. If I say the weekly time frame, again, nothing to say that I would. Can you guys see these yellow lines on here when I was trading this before? Nothing to say that I would short it. I think that it's higher probability that we get up here. We do have a little bit of resistance right in here. I'll kind of highlight this area. We have consolidation here, and you see this was a pretty broad support area. So what I would do just to make it simple is that we could draw it straight across and say, and there's a 200 period. And this is the weekly time frame. So price is probably going to react with this level. So if we are in this trade, we could target this price. It's around 50 bucks. Let's just call it. The low part of it's 53. The high part is around 55. So we're coming into that zone where I would expect some sort of reaction. Maybe we'll see a pullback in here, you know, and then maybe it can break out. So I would just keep an eye on it. We could also see some weekly bars in here. And if price runs up to this area and then just consolidates, I think it's more bullish to consolidate horizontal on the chart than it is to pull back in price. So nothing, again, on the weekly time frame looks phenomenal. Daily time frame looks phenomenal. Hourly time frame looks phenomenal. It's just working its way up there. FDX. So we went over transports. FDX is probably going to follow a lot of the banks and a lot of the transports, and it just, they all, you know, they all go together. So as far as bullish or bearish, we do have consolidation going sideways after a bull move. So I would probably expect plan for higher move, consolidation, probably higher prices, but I wouldn't go long necessarily because this could also be some sort of head and shoulders pattern, right? Like maybe it's doing one of those. It's just kind of hard to tell. So to make this a low risk trade, I would just wait for it to break out. We could just set an alert right up here and wait for it to break out, right? And so you could say, wait for it to get above 262.45, and then we could go long. There's a lot of room up here if we did break out. So there would be time, kind of like Tesla, where if it consolidates like this for a long time and then breaks out, it really runs. You might see the same thing in FedEx. Apple. Took a trade in Apple. This one we posted also in the Discord. We were long, and I forgot the calls that we purchased. So we'll have to take a look at that. Anyway, I don't like I'm kind of mixed on this, even though we took a long trade, because I think overall it can be more bullish and maybe price will come up here. But to understand, like, I took a long trade based on what I think is a good bounce. I didn't take a long trade thinking that we're going to go up to 140. I think the high is in, to be honest with you. I don't think that it's going to get much higher than this. We have to understand that Apple already saw we had a 6-to-1 or whatever it was, a 5-to-1 or a 6-to-1. So really Apple's prices are really high. And so plus inflation, and we factor in everything else, this might be the high for a while. Unless we get another move in the market, the broad market to, SPY to 420, maybe we'll see a run up here to 140. But even then, I went long based on it being at support. I don't like that the chart sold off and technically this is still consolidation in here, right? And so I think that Apple could see this more consolidation in here before it will finally break down. Just like Amazon and the rest of the tech. I don't think that there's much room in here. Now, if we get above 128 or get above this candle up here, I think that we could see a lot higher prices in Apple. And then all the stuff I just told you would be off the table. We'd be looking for higher prices. But for now, just a bounce trade. I think we could definitely see a nice another 5% in here, 126. Neo. Did we do Neo on Saturday? I think we did it. I think we did Neo. I think we have a video on Neo on Saturday. If if I didn't put it in the video, I think you could be bullish all day long for a bounce trade up here to 46.54. But just like Apple, I think NEO has seen its high, 66.99. I think that it'd be reasonable to expect that this will do a bounce, maybe to some resistance. And then I don't think that it means it's going to roll over all the way back down to 20, but I think that this pretty much caps it out for now. I think it needs to see this consolidation on the weekly time frame before it can ultimately get above these levels. But for now, you can definitely be, as far as a trade goes, I think you can definitely be long against Friday's low. Price should have no business being back down here unless there was an inside bar to fake people out, or maybe it will go back down here to fake people out and then it'll rally higher. But I think that Friday's candle is easily a bullish scenario more than it is a bearish scenario. And let's go down to an hourly time frame. Hourly time frame, it has a little bit of work to do. You can see is like maybe this is a dead cat bounce, even though the Friday's candle was a little bit more bullish. Excuse me for keep zooming in here. Price on NEO really needs to get above this area. It needs to get back above 40 bucks, right? Where's my thing at? What's going on with my YouTube here? What's going on? What's going on? Okay. So I think pricing needs to get back above $40, and you're probably going to see a little bit of resistance in there. But once it can clear $40, I think more shorts will begin to cover all the way up into, maybe you'll see some more resistance at $43. But now at this point, if you are long, I'd be looking for higher lows and maybe a breakout above 40. Okay, NEO, ARK. I've shared with a few people about ARK. And what were we looking for? 10%, right? And ARK is down 30%. Yeah, long-term add. Long-term add. Count on it being volatile still. And the only reason why is because some of the names that are in, but you can see the average price, the value area, which is either down here or it's right around here. Well, we just came and back tested this $100 price area, right around $100. So if you are uber bullish on ARK, and this is your jam, then I think that we could definitely see higher prices, maybe up to $200, possibly within 5 years or sooner. But keep in mind that we could also see some volatility in here before we get all the way up there. But yeah, long term, I don't think there's any reason to be fearful of holding on. As far as the day trade goes, I think that it's definitely bullish. As far as the Friday candle itself was bullish, as far as it being a reversal candle on heavy volume. I think there were definitely buyers showing up here. I think we could see a bounce up into the moving averages, which is around 135. By the time price gets up there, the moving averages will probably be down to 129.30 if you're just trying to take a trade out of it. MARA. Does anybody know that? What's the new ARK ETF that's like space? It's like a space ETF. Okay, so MARA, same thing. Are we trading on Bitcoin? What is it? I mean, is MARA follow Bitcoin or follow crypto? Bullish consolidation on the daily chart. As you can see, it runs up, consolidation, runs up, consolidation. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see these yellow lines. That's when I was trading this name, and I haven't traded it since, I don't think. And maybe, I mean, is it blockchain? Like, what do they do? So it's really volatile. So maybe if you were going to take a long trade, just be very careful and understand that it's volatile. I think that it's a really good area as far as this being prior consolidation and price coming back to back test. I think that as far as not knowing anything about the company, and if I saw that and I was in the middle of a trading day, I do like that. The one thing that I'll point out though to be careful about is that there's only so many times that the price will back test before it falls through. Did I just make a middle finger? So just be really careful that it's the bouncing ball, right? The more times it bounces on support, it might fall through. But overall, this candle on Friday is definitely bullish. It's at support. It's at gap support. It's a bullish run up, which is bullish context. It does like to do these little massive run ups. So maybe we'll see a bounce in here. There's probably going to be some resistance up here around 40 bucks. I would almost count on it because maybe it wants to do one of these where it shoots up like this. And if it does follow crypto, keep an eye on crypto, right? Well done if you caught that low. GLW. Okay, GLW. I like the chart. I think it's reasonable to think price will actually go up and hit 38.43. That resistance areas like to pull the price up to them. It sounds funny, but that's just the way it works. Not always, but heavy resistance areas like to pull price up to them, unless there's some sort of market crash that happens tomorrow or this weekend, or between now and tomorrow. Maybe it's happening right now and I don't know it. I think it'd be reasonable to expect that price is going to get up to this resistance area, but it might have a little bit of issue getting through it. So let's go down to let's go to weekly time frame. It looks good. It might need a little bit more time of consolidation in here. So you see this is current price right here. Here is the flag or bullish whatever consolidation. It was an up move. Now it's consolidating in price or now it's consolidating in time and not price, which is I think more bullish. So now we're looking for higher lows up through here. As far as taking a trade, I'm not sure. If you caught this low down here, 35 bucks, if you can get a good price, I think it's okay to be in these consolidation trades while price is bouncing up and down through consolidation. Another way to do it is just wait for the breakout. If price can get above 38.89 or even above 39.78, wait for the breakout. Kathy bought 4 million shares of which company? PLTR? Yeah, the stimulus going through, or who does I think the House has to vote on it. Yeah, PLTR. I thought I heard that with. And like long term, if you guys are wanting to hold this long term, I do like this too. Now I just noticed this. I do like this, right? This was a breakout area. You have this massive candle in here, consolidation, and then it takes off. Well, it hasn't been back to this price here in quite a while, and it just did that this last week. So, House vote, then Biden signed Tuesday, most likely. Yeah, and is there a reason why the House? So it went to the Senate, or the Senate did their thing. Now they're sending it back to the House. I think it will just pass, right? I mean, I'm under the assumption that it will most likely pass, especially if the Senate already did their thing, unless the House wants changes. 33% OCGN. Did I miss anything? Let me go check really quick. GLW. Market, I'm waiting to see how it reacts. Why wouldn't? Yeah, with Tesla, I think Tesla is ultimately. I think it will be higher, but I think the entire market will be higher ultimately. This is the monthly time frame, so. And the retracement doesn't have to be 50%, but if you this is a pretty massive consolidation in here. When Kathy Woods was buying it at the low, or down here at this consolidation, she was accumulating, and we saw this breakout, and then you had the coronavirus crash, which I think was down here, February. Yeah, it was down here. So just to put in perspective, this is the coronavirus crash, right? And so this is the breakout. But ultimately, I think maybe it'll be worth 2,000. But I think it's going to come back to trend, come back to value, or come back to trend, and then it's going to make bulls and bears believe that it's never going to go back up again, and then that's when it'll go back up again. But ultimately, I think we're going to see some bounces along the way. I think we'll see a bounce out of here, and I think maybe in a year and a half we'll see 2,000. Did I miss anything? Oh, it doesn't go till Tuesday. Yeah, Carl, tag me in your Tesla. I'd love to see it. I mean, I'm long Tesla right now, so I would love to see it. I'm trying to see both sides, though. If you could do a quick view of KRMD. Yeah, we'll do that and we'll wrap it up. KRMD. KRMD. See, this is the thing. It looks really ugly. And you guys know I love these trades, right? Like, this looks nasty. Like, 71%. But when are we buyers? 70%. 60, 70% we're buyers. Daily chart. Let me go back to the weekly. I missed the weekly. Weekly time frame. Out of the consolidation to the downside. It almost looks like a head and shoulders. Here's a shoulder, a head. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be... I don't always like trading the head and shoulders, but once you get the breakdown of the neckline, then you can target that lower price. And on this chart, it even went lower. And now it is consolidating. So, or now it's like doing this trading sideways, having a hard time getting lower than this. Let's go to the daily. So for something like this, I prefer trend lines. Like I like doing this where I can draw some sort of trend line in here. I don't know if that would be it. Maybe it'd be something like this. And I prefer to wait for price to get above the trend, get above the downward, maybe one of these, right? What do you call this? A wedge? The wedge pattern, right? I love these patterns, but I usually wait for them to break out. Personally, let's go to the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart. Same thing, it bounced, it fell through support, finally broke this support, and maybe this is a back test. So this is why I just don't know, you know? Like if I do this, is price just coming up here to do a back test and then sell off further? I don't know. I prefer, and so that's why I prefer to wait. Be patient, wait, you know? Patience-ness plays off. Okay, well look at, is it OII? It's hard to see the screen. OII. This looks good. Oceaneering. I wonder if this trades with transports. Like, is this the shippers? OPEC. Yeah. So, absolutely bullish breakout. For these kind of bullish breakout scenarios, they can just continue higher. And this looks really good. The weekly time frame looks phenomenal, especially if you're already in this trade. For those of us who are not in this trade, it might be a little bit trickier. But the cool thing with this is, and so this is, I'm glad you brought this up because now you can see, I don't know how you would draw this in here, but you can see waiting patiently for the breakout. You can see where it broke out, it back tested, and now it's running again. That's exactly what I like to see in here. So maybe 15 bucks, maybe all the way up here to 2090. I don't really know what these guys do, but the chart looks amazing. For this, I personally wait for the consolidation, let the moving averages catch up, and then take a long trade using $13 as like your, consolidation stop loss area maybe. Oops. Or are we just telling me about that chart because it was a wedge? Okay. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for the subs. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hitting the like button. And feel free to check out the Discord, or I'll see you guys in the Discord. And don't forget to post your plays. We would love to check them out. Thank you guys.